Everyone wants to talk about the latest Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Bugattis. But let's flip the script for a second. What about the cars you can't buy anymore? The ones that were so rare, so powerful, or so controversial that they vanished from the market forever. Cars built with engineering so insane they broke the rules. Cars produced in such small numbers they became myths. Cars that were banned, recalled, or locked away by collectors who will never let them see the road again. And here's the controversial truth. The most legendary luxury cars aren't the ones being hyped right now. They're the ones you'll never get your hands on. Because some machines were never meant for the average billionaire. They were built for an era of excess, speed, and danger that the industry doesn't want to talk about anymore. Today, we're diving into 5 disappearing luxury cars so rare and untouchable, they've become forbidden fruit for car lovers worldwide. Point 1. The McLaren F1, the $20 million unicorn. In the 1990s, McLaren built what many still call the greatest car of all time, the McLaren F1. Just 106 were ever made. It wasn't just a car, it was an engineering experiment, a statement, a once-in-history machine. With a 6.1-liter BMW V12 engine, a top speed of 240 miles per hour, and a revolutionary central driving position, the F1 was decades ahead of its time. But here's why it disappeared. McLaren swore they'd never make another car like it. It was too pure, too uncompromised. Safety laws tightened, emission standards grew harsher, and suddenly, the F1 became not just rare, but impossible to replicate. Today, one sold at auction for over $20 million. That's not a car anymore. That's a private museum on wheels. The saddest part, unless you're already in the billionaire club, you'll never even touch one. Owners lock them away in temperature-controlled garages, driving them only for exclusive shows. The McLaren F1 isn't just disappearing, it's already gone, hidden behind velvet ropes in the collections of the ultra-elite. Point 2. The Bugatti EB110, the forgotten supercar. Before the Veyron, before the Chiron, Bugatti had the EB110 in the early 1990s. A car with a quad-turbocharged V12, producing nearly 600 horsepower and hitting 213 miles per hour. At the time, it was outrageous, a true supercar. But history wasn't kind. The company went bankrupt in 1995, leaving the EB110 stranded. Only 139 cars were ever built. And here's where it gets tragic. Many of them were sold off dirt cheap, abandoned in warehouses, or scrapped. Now, decades later, collectors are fighting to recover the survivors. Some EB110s have resurfaced at auctions, selling for millions, but most lost, forgotten, disappeared. The EB110 is a car that should have been a legend, but instead, it became a ghost. Ask anyone outside the hardcore car world about it, and they'll stare blankly. That's how effective its disappearance has been. Point 3. The Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR, the street-legal race car. Imagine this. You're driving a car that was literally built for Le Mans racing. That's the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR. Only 25 road cars were ever made, each costing $1.5 million in the late 1990s. A number so high at the time that most billionaires blinked. Today, they sell for $10 to $15 million. With a 6.9-liter V12, it could hit 214 miles per hour and looked like a spaceship. But here's the catch. It was so extreme, so impractical, that almost nobody could use it. Spare parts? Non-existent. Maintenance? Only a handful of specialists in the world can even touch the engine. The result? Most CLK GTRs sit locked away in private collections, rarely, if ever, driven. You'll never see one on the road, not because they're banned, but because their owners are too terrified of damaging a car that can never be replaced. In a sense, the CLK GTR has disappeared, not physically, but from the streets it was meant to dominate. Point 4. The Ferrari F50 GT, the car Ferrari wants you to forget. Everyone knows about the Ferrari F40 and the F50. But what about the F50 GT? This was Ferrari's secret monster, a race car version of the F50, stripped down and amped up to 750 horsepower. It was supposed to compete at Le Mans, and early tests showed it could have been unstoppable. But then politics killed it. Ferrari pulled out of the program, canceled the project, and built only 3 cars. That's right, 3, not 30, not 300, 3. Ferrari doesn't talk about the F50 GT. They don't showcase it. They don't celebrate it. It's like the brand wants it erased from history. Why? Because it shows a Ferrari that was too wild, too rebellious for its polished image. The few that exist today are locked in collections worth tens of millions. The F50 GT isn't just rare, it's practically forbidden knowledge in Ferrari's world. Point 5. The Aston Martin 177, the vanishing modern classic. In 2009, Aston Martin unveiled the 177, a car so exclusive that only 77 were ever made. It packed a 7.3-liter V12, pushing 750 horsepower, making it the most powerful naturally aspirated car of its era. The price? $1.7 million. But here's the twist. Despite being a modern car, the 177 has already started vanishing. Many are hidden in collections in the Middle East, driven only once or twice before being sealed away. A handful were wrecked in crashes, leaving even fewer alive. The 177 was supposed to be Aston Martin's crown jewel, but instead, it's fading into obscurity. Young car fans barely know it exists. In 20 years, the 177 might be remembered not as a legendary car, but as a rare rumor, a machine that slipped quietly into billionaire vaults and never returned. So there you have it, 5 disappearing luxury cars no one can buy anymore. The McLaren F1 locked away by billionaires, the Bugatti EB110 forgotten in bankruptcy, the Mercedes CLK GTR too rare to touch, the Ferrari F50 GT erased by politics, and the Aston Martin 177 fading into obscurity. And here's the controversial truth. The world's most incredible cars weren't built for roads anymore. They were built for vaults, for collections, for exclusivity so extreme, they've disappeared from the very streets they were designed to conquer. Now I'll leave you with this question. If you had the money, would you lock these cars away as investments? Or would you risk it all and actually drive them? Because here's the reality. Luxury doesn't disappear when it's destroyed. It disappears when it's locked away from the world forever.